Hello everyone. If you see something like this when running PowerShell scripts, it's probably because the execution policy is stopping the script from running. And while this is not the problem for the newer version of PowerShell that we have been using, this is still the default behavior in older version of PowerShell. So this is something you will encounter as you continue with your PowerShell scripting. So I think this is the right time to discuss the execution policy. So let's go to the shell and type help about execution policies. So basically, PowerShell's execution policy is a safety feature that controls the conditions under which PowerShell loads configuration files and run scripts. And this feature helps prevent the execution of malicious scripts. There are few options available for you to use with the set execution policy command that helps you modify what execution policy you are currently using. So all signed is one where you can run any scripts, and that has to be signed by a trusted publisher and including the scripts that you write on the local computer. And the next option is bypass, where nothing is blocked and there are no warnings or prompts. And the next is remote signed, which is the default that's set for Windows computers, and this lets you run the script that is signed by a trusted publisher or the scripts that you have created yourself in your local computer. And the next one is restricted. uh, so for this you do not have any permission to run the scripts, and the error that you see on your screen is because the execution policy is set to restricted. And those are the important ones that you have to remember for the Windows computer, because this unrestricted is the default execution policy for non-Windows computers and cannot be changed. And there are also scope for the execution policy. The valid values for scope are machine policy, user policy, process, current user, local machine. And local machine is the default when setting an execution policy. So let's change the execution policy and see how it works. Just type the command, and you'll probably have to run the shell as an administrator to change the execution policy. So let's open the PowerShell as administrator. Type set. After this, you provide the option that is the execution policy you want to set. That may be remote signed, that may be unrestricted, and that may be bypass. Whatever you want to set, let's set remote signed. And after this, you can just hit enter, or you can provide the scope. And if you are running a script on a computer where you do not run the PowerShell scripts on a daily basis, you can set the scope to process, and after the shell closes and after we close the PowerShell session, the execution policy setting is also removed. But you can also set it for current user and hit enter. And if it's your first time changing or setting the execution policy, you will see the confirmation script. Press Y and hit enter, and you'll be good to go. Although it is mentioned that execution policy is a security features that helps prevent the execution of malicious scripts, let's open the help again and read this particular line. The execution policy isn't a security system that restricts user actions. For example, user can easily bypass a policy by trying the script contents at the command line when they cannot run a script. So what this basically means is, instead of running all the commands as a script, you can run it one by one and it will still run. And another way to bypass this execution policy is from command line, and that is usually what people do if execution policy is set to restricted. That is, let me show you. Open command line and let's call the PowerShell application. And here what you can do is execution policy. Maybe let's set it to remote signed, and after this the file, and that is path to the script. So even if the execution policy in the PowerShell is set to restricted, with this command you can easily bypass the execution policy. So the execution policy is not really a security feature. Instead, it's just a way to prevent the uninformed users to run the scripts unintentionally, and that's it. And whether you set the execution policy to maybe uh, restricted, it is not an issue because you can easily bypass the execution policy, and you should not take this as a security feature. And that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next